Mark, here we are at Easter.
Yeah.
Not often we can start with a positive message, but we did so yesterday. And so the stage is yours, sir. Tell us about the Nike deal.
Yeah, it's, as you know, over the last 5 years we've been Sondico. We've been out at various supporter club meetings, listened to fans, took their views and opinions on board. It was clear that we're in a cycle as a club that there was a demand out there for a premium brand, and that's obviously with the greatest respect to Sondico. And they don't come much higher in premium brands than Nike, so we're absolutely delighted to be able to announce that we've closed that deal now and really looking forward to the next 3 years working with them.
Up there, does it just take the club to another level?
I think the Nike brand's great. I mean, there's a lot of companies just, you know, pay to have their brand associated with Nike. We haven't done that, by the way, but it's such a strong brand, and I think, you know, when the players are stood there lining up to have that swoosh on your chest, aligned with the Pompey logo, obviously is a great statement, and you know, makes you stand a little bit taller, I would hope. I mean, I know for myself, I'm quite looking forward next season to, as I travel around with the puffer jacket on, having the Nike brand on it. And it's a very, very strong brand, and hopefully the fans will appreciate the work that's gone into that to get us to that stage, because to attract a brand such as Nike has been quite difficult.
Does that in turn mean a good selection of Nike stuff for supporters?
I hope so. I mean, we've obviously been working with them on what we'd like to see, again, taking feedback from supporters in regards of what they would like to see in the new club shop, and they've been pretty accommodating, to be fair. So yeah, I'm hoping that we'll have a full range of various articles and products that will be available to supporters next year, predominantly carrying the Nike brand. Yeah,
you allude to a new shop, so how's that coming on?
Yeah, the new shop's coming on really well. I know there's been a lot of speculation of where that's going to be. We're really excited about the positioning, the shop itself, and the size and what's actually happening in there. But hopefully in the next week or so there'll be a subsequent announcement to the Nike deal, and put the fans out of their misery, so to speak.
And who owns that?
The shop's owned by the club. So again, it's money that's staying internally within the club and not going out, as currently is with Sondico and the Pompey Centre, which is obviously not owned by us. So revenue generated from this club shop as such, where a part of that would normally go to pay rent. Obviously it's an internal club shop as such, so you know, the money stays within the club, which is fantastic.
Because you have to say, at the moment, through no fault of our own, it's Spot the Shop, isn't it, at the moment? Where is it?
Yeah, listen, as I said, there's been a lot of speculation. I don't want to insult fans' intelligence, but I won't comment officially on it until it's actually officially announced.
Okay, right, let's move on. As I say, Easter here. Why is our game with Walsall still on the Saturday and everybody else on the Friday? And it's an interesting point, because we are the only League One game, and possibly one of three outside the Premier League, on the Saturday.
We did make the request to Walsall that we would like the game moved to a Friday, but it's really, both clubs have to agree to a change. Walsall explained how expensive it was going to be from their point of view to move the game to the Friday, and as such wasn't going to do that in regards of stewarding and police costs and whatever. So they wasn't prepared to move it, and we have to respect their decision, even though we didn't agree with it and we wanted it on the Friday. It's ultimately, as the home club, it is their decision.
Kenny, as always, is quite circumspect about it all, but I suppose it would have benefited to have that extra day.
Yeah, because you got the game quickly on the Monday. If there was a week gap, I don't think it would have had it would have had hardly any effect, really. But because we've got the game on the Monday, especially live on Sky, we've got like a 48-hour turnaround, really. I know we've got them extra few hours because the games are slightly later because of Sky, but yeah, it's, unfortunately for us, it's a very quick turnaround. But you know, it is what it is, and Kenny never makes excuses in advance or post matches, and so I'm not going to go down that route either. We just have to get on with it. Yep. Wasn't our choice. We made the request. We went back again, rejected again. So we are where we are. We've just got to get on with it.
Okay, Russ on Facebook, and here was a name that fills me with horror, and I thought I'd never see or hear again. Why is the amount of money owed to Portsmouth on promotion to the Premier League gone up by £1 million in last year's accounts?
The money owed to Portpin hasn't actually gone up. From what I believe, it was 2 million, it's still 2 million. But during the due diligence process undertaken by Tonante, they flagged up some other contingency payments that I believe totaled £1 million, if that's what the figure is there, that would be due in the event of us actually achieving promotion to the Premiership within a certain amount of years. But that isn't Portpin, so the amount owed to Portpin is exactly the same.
On to a different subject. There are increasing reports from fans in the North Stand by the Milton end that the stewarding is somewhat overzealous compared to that of the stewarding away fans receive. How is stewarding coordinated between the two areas, as some home fans are feeling more harshly treated? That's from multiple fans.
Yeah, I mean, I think as you'll testify, Johnny, we have had a few complaints of that over recent weeks and months. Something we spoke to Marie Stedman, our head of stadium safety and security, about. She's explained to us, and subsequently letters that have gone back to fans that have said the same thing. Basically, I saw some more instances on social media over the weekend, again, where it was flagged to me. Something we've looked at, but as has been pointed out to me and you privately by Marie, and we've seen the camera evidence, and you know, the stewards now, quite a few of them have the body cam, so it's been corroborated that we don't really sort of differentiate between away and home fans. We're quite equal in what we do, just because you don't actually, and by the way, the figures support that in the number of ejections, so just want to be clear about that. But the actual, just because supporters on a day don't see someone being ejected from the ground doesn't mean that action isn't taken post-match with a certain fan or a certain group of fans, because at a particular time, if there's what we class as a potential flashpoint, what you don't want to be doing is sending in stewards to inflame a situation. So, you know, the person's noted, you know, it's as you know, the control tower was in that corner, details are taken, and then quite often they are, you know, spoken to or escalated further in punishment post the match, when it tends to the heat's been taken out of the situation. So that's left to the police and as I say, Marie Stedman, head of safety and security, and a whole host of people on the day that are in that control box with CCTV footage, and they make the decisions on that day. And from the evidence that I've seen, it doesn't appear to be the case that we favour away fans over home fans.
Okay. As a serial away driver, says Ryan on Twitter, car parks for nearly every League One club vary between £3 and £5 and are paved. Why is our parking £10 on a gravel surface? 100% increase on last year. I
think I addressed this question pre-season, because the decision was taken at the end of last season or during the pre-season period on regards of £10 for car parking, and I'll just give the same answer as I think as I did at the time, that there's because it is gravel, there is a lot of investment required in that car parking area. I think supporters would be shocked if they knew what the cost was to actually tarmac it. I mean, you wouldn't get your money back for tens of years if a decision was taken. But it is a service to people. However, with the current gravel pitch, it is expensive, you know, to keep maintaining that. £10,000–20,000 I think was spent during this summer alone, and we've got very little capacity. So the capacity that we have got there, we have to try and maximise the revenue from it to actually justify the fact of spending the money on it each year.
And it should be stressed, we go up and down the country, and some places, quite a lot of them, there's no parking facilities for the public.
Parking facilities are tough, and when you take out our obligations, so a lot of people pay in the hospitality specifically, they prepay for the year in advance to have that space, and then you have our other statutory obligations in regards of away directors and the referees and such like. Yeah, we have very, very few spaces to actually sell on a match day, and hence the fact we have to maximise our revenue. And it's worth pointing out that even at that point, we do sell out pretty much every single game. So it's supply and demand really in regard to that.
Ollie on Twitter, will there be shirts available with the round crest?
I don't believe there will be this coming season, although again, taking on board feedback from a lot of supporters, a lot seem to like because just actually I'll give a bit of background to this, which I think will be helpful in the regards of the two crests. You know, we've got the standard shield, I call it, which the plan is to use that on the club shirts this year. It's very similar to our existing club shield, nothing too drastic. Again, that was taking on the feedback from supporters. Now, the shield with the enclosed, with the circle on the outside, obviously with the name Portsmouth FC in it, that was the decision was taken that we would use that for merchandise, but we've now got a year or 2 or 3 or 4, however long we want, because we're in the process of trademarking both of them, to get feedback from supporters on that. Now, I can't say forever and a day we're never going to use the circle around the outside. However, there has been a lot of feedback that we've received from supporters that have said they actually would rather that than the traditional shield. So I think it's really this season, let's see how that goes down, you know, with supporters. And again, you know, we're listening to fans, we're taking on board their feedback, and if in the end there seems an overwhelming amount of support for changing, then it's something that we will look at obviously in the future.
Took the question out of my mouth, actually, it was written down there. But also, of course, the crests, a lot was made out of them before they came, and then everybody, great approval of them.
Yeah, which is, again, testament to the work that went in from everyone, and not least from supporters in 5,000 each time, filled out relevant fan surveys. And I did get frustrated. I mean, you know, I spoke to you on a pretty much daily basis about it. I was getting frustrated, the fact that we was trying to make clear that a lot of the ideas we're putting out there were just flying a kite, just to see would it attract any traction, and people go, actually, I really like this. Or as it happened, a lot of the ideas we put out there, people completely hated, let's be honest. And that was all taken on board. Everything was discussed, you know, with the H&A board as well, with the various supporter groups, as you know, Johnny, and in addition to the fan surveys and the feedback that we got off of social media, and we come to what I think was a great conclusion. And you got to bear in mind as well, the intention was never, Michael made clear right from the very start, he loved our existing crest. He didn't ever really want to change that, but he floated ideas out there. We got feedback from a number of them. I mean, I think I said it at a previous one, I quite like the ball, you know, shoot me for that, you know, but I know a lot would, but the ball wasn't popular. So, you know, that was taken on board, it was taken out. People quite liked the year of our formation, foundation on there, you know, so that stayed in. People seemed to quite like the nautical star rather than a standard star. It didn't seem to really upset people that much. So these were the little bits that we was able to take from the consultation with the supporters and the various groups and all the online media that we saw, that then we could integrate it finally into a star that gave us that ability to trademark it, make it different from the old one. We have now, I won't say for the first time in the history, because there have been adaptations that have been trademarked, but we've got a shield and a crest that I think generally has gone down very well, fits with our tradition, embraces our tradition even more in being a seafaring city as such, and having a nautical star and the year of our foundation in it. So I think it worked well for everyone, and we can trademark it, it's ours, we own it. Okay, on to something new. Why is it, and I'm not sure this is fact, that players have been told they can't sign autographs while they are warming up from multiple fans? I'm genuinely not sure that is a fact. However, fact or not, and I will find out, it's once you start signing one or two, I mean, listen, our players are absolutely brilliant, we know that, yeah. On their way in, they stood there for however long it takes signing autographs. On their way out, they're once again, they're there signing however long it takes, signing autographs. You know, we're a community-based club, we've drilled that into them. However, when they're warming up for a game, they're in game mode. It's very, very difficult. That's their time when they have to focus on being professional footballers. Now, if it's a case of signing an odd autograph, you know, I'm sure that that's not an issue. But what I have seen previously is players start signing 1 or 2 autographs, and then before you know where you are, there's a huge crowd of fans in that area, and then you get disappointment, because wouldn't surprise me if a decision has been taken that, look, during that period, you do your warm-up, don't want you standing around signing autographs. And it's never 1 or 2, Johnny. It's easy for someone to say, it's only 1 or 2. It's not. When they start signing, you can't stop. And again, at the end of it, then it's time again to sign autographs. But they have to have that professional playing moment. It's probably better to make the decision that we don't do it. I don't know, as I said, I'm not sure if that is a decision, as a fact that has been made. But if it has, I wouldn't be surprised and I wouldn't be against it.
No, okay. Now, the playoffs are looming. Are our lone players eligible to play in the playoffs if they became reality, says Ian on Facebook?
Yes, they are. And following on from that, 8 games to go. What a great end of season this potentially could end up being, where we are talking about the playoffs still with 8 games to go. And, you know, it just about sums up our season, really. I know we've had ups and downs during the season, but predominantly we have been in the top half of the table pretty much all year. I think the majority of in the top 10, and a lot of the times in or just outside the playoffs. So I think it's a testament to where we are, especially with all the injuries that we've had as well, that, touch wood, thank God, they're gradually coming back now, that we are still in a position with 8 games to go where we are seriously still talking about the playoffs.
Now, we alluded to the counts earlier on with good old Portpin. Yep. They were revealed. Just tell us the response to those in general.
To the accounts generally. I've had very little response. I think they were pretty much in line where we've been for the previous 4 seasons since we come out of administration, in that we've turned in a small operating profit but have had an overall loss, which predominantly is down to Fratton Park and ongoing investment. And it just goes to show you, I think, the accounts, that you've gone from a £300,000 operating profit to a £500,000 loss. And I think that could be a taste of things to come over future years, where we'll continue operationally to perform well, but losses will continue to accumulate because of all the investment that's going into Fratton Park. And I just want to reassure supporters generally, you know, we've known about them accounts for a long while. During the year, we know where we are in regards of the club financially. It's absolutely nothing to worry about, but it just goes to show you the amount of resources required to run a football club. I
think the point is there were no shocks or surprises in it for you.
There were no shocks, no. And I think this, I'm not going to preempt this current year, but I think, as I said previously, I think people will be surprised just the level of investment that has gone into the club this year. So again, won't be able to publish them for another year now, but it will all be there in black and white. So
we are where we expect to be on the pitch. We are where we expect to be off the pitch. Let's get out of here while we're on top.
Yeah, so no, listen, as I've said consistently, during the next 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, however many years you want to go, we are going to have bad periods on the pitch. It's an impossibility to year on year keep doing well. It's just, as I've always said to you, and we're going to have bad weeks, bad games, bad months, bad years. You know, it's the nature of football. But the main thing is that we just, as we always do, stick to the task, keep progressing year on year, keep working hard. And all I can assure supporters, as I always do, myself, the rest of the team, our board of directors, everyone is working in the best interests of the football club. Everyone's here for the long term. Everyone wants to see this club progress. Whether it progresses at the speed people want it to, that's open to debate. But it will continue to progress. It's a long-term project, long-term planning. Everything we do is in that demand. We've had new owners now for just 7 months, 8 months, not very long. Already a lot of work's been done, a lot more work's been done behind the scenes, and we will keep building on this in future years. But just bear in mind, the next time we have this and we're on the back of a few defeats, that's football. It happens, you know, but everything we do will be taken with a mid to long-term view. It won't be taken with a short-term view. Okay, well, on that note, have a great Easter. Thank you very much. You too, and all the supporters out there as well. Good luck. Cheers, yeah.